Okay. Good afternoon. If you could please take your seats. We need to get it started. We are a few minutes behind the schedule, but we'll catch up. Good afternoon again. It's my great pleasure to welcome you all on this magnificent event to honor our faculty for their accomplishments and very, very impressive translation of their research into real-world applications that you will hear more about it. But in order to first get it started, with the Board of Overseers 2022 NJIT Excellence in Research Medal Award Ceremony, I'm requesting our President, Tak Lim, to get us started. President Lim.
Well, thank you, Tom, for the opportunity to say a few words. So welcome to the presentation of the 2022 NJIT Board of Overseers Excellence in Research Awards. You know, it is really my great pleasure to be with those of you who are present, as well as the viewers who are joining us via our live stream. This is a wonderful occasion to come together and celebrate our communities of prolific researchers. You know, we are really, after all, a community of scholars. Before going any further, I would like to acknowledge the members of NJIT's Board of Overseers who are with us today, including our chairwoman, Marjorie Perry. Hi, Marjorie. Vice President for Development and Alumni Relations, Ken Alexo, where are you? All right, he'll get a hand of applause anyway. We have Kathy Brennan here, our CFO. Kathy? Nope. Andrew Chris, I know I see you there. Andrew, our Vice President for Real Estate and Campus Operation. Of course, you know, Tom Dewan, our interim provost and Senior Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs. Tom, where are you? Okay. And a couple more. Daniel Henderson, where are you? Good, Daniel. We have a phenomenal meeting just now, and I look forward to more engagement with you, Dan. And John Seahals, our Chair Emeritus. John is here? Seahals? No, okay. All right, if I miss anybody, forgive me. This is my 104th day in the job. I have some, you can give me some slack if I miss anyone here. Oh, I just see, you know, I did miss some few people. She said, no, I had to. Holly Stern, Chief Legal Officer, she kept me straight. I see Angela Garrettson, our Chief External Affairs Officer. I should also call out our Dean, Dean Kevin Belfield, Dean of College of Liberal Arts and Science and Liberal Arts. And I thought I saw another Dean here. Craig Gossman, how can I not forget you? We spent so much time together today. Craig, our College of Inglewood College of Computing. And I do want to acknowledge, I see our former provost here, who's, gave up his last decade, right, as provost of this institution, took us to where we are. Fadi, Dick, thank you for coming. And I almost missed Vice President for Human Resources, Dale McLeod. Did I miss anyone here? Okay. Oh, no, yes. My most favorite Vice President for Student Affairs. There's only one, actually. Mary Beth Boger. All right, I hope I got everybody. Hi, Ken. We called you out first and you were not here. So that's Ken back there, Ken Alexo, my partner in crime in fundraising. If you see me and Ken, you know the drill. We need your time, talent, and treasure. I would also like to extend a warm welcome back to the following former winners of the Excellence in Research Award. I hope they're here. If you're here, just wave your hand and stand up. Nirwan Ansari. Nirwan? Gabriela Esperdi. I saw you today. Yeah. Haim Grebel. Congratulations. Farzam Nadim. David Rothenberg. Good. Now, given the quality and scope of our research conducted at our university, which is an R1 research university, this is the highest possible ranking under the Carnegie classification. This is basically the top 140 or so institution in this country. It is a challenge each year to select recipients for this annual recognition. Do you know why? Because we have so many spectacular faculty doing incredible research. If you think about our ranking that you see in the news recently, we are ranked top 100 in the country by the US News and World Report among all institutions, top 50 among public institutions, money.com, not that they give us any money, but rank us even better, top 14 in the country. The question is, why are we, even though modestly in size, small in reality, we're 1,200, 800 students strong. By the way, that's the largest we have ever been. I won't take any credit for that. It's really Joe Bloom and Fadi D that did all the hard work to bring in 12,800 students because it takes longevity of time to get that going. Even though we're small or modest, we're ranked really, really high. And the reason for that, okay, is because of two factors, I believe. One is our student success metric. It's incredible. For institutions of comparable research stature as us, we're 15, 20 percentage point higher than most of them. That's number one. Number two, which is what we're here to celebrate, is the immense work that our faculty does. The work that our faculty does is head-turning, meaning that it garners attention nationally and internationally. That's why it's so difficult to pick the winners each year. All right. This award, okay, was established in, I think, 2008 by the NJIT Board of Overseers. That's why our Board of Overseers is here. We just had a board meeting a few minutes ago. We have so many pioneering researchers from which to choose from. And this is a difficult task for the committee. To do that, okay, you have to read through, pages of nominations, letters, and also understand what is being done by the faculty member. So kudos to all of you who have participated in this selection process. This is a lot of hard work, but thank you for your time, obviously. But I do want to mention who they are here. So the chair of the selection committee is Daniel Henderson. Raise your hand again, okay. Our former provost, Fadi Dick, is very involved in that. Atam Dewan, interim provost currently, and I know John is not here. John Cecil is also a member of the committee. So thank you so much for all the hours that you put in to, complete the selection process. So it is now my pleasure to share with you that for 2022, you want to go back a little bit? Okay. For 2022, the NJIT Overseers Excellence in Research Prize and Medal and the Overseers Excellence in Research Lifetime Achievement Award are being awarded to two truly exceptional scholars. So the drum roll. although it's really on your, on your brochure here, but still a drum roll because this is a very eventful, spectacular commendation. Our first recipient of the Excellence in Research Prize and Medal is Michelle Bofadil. Congratulations. A highly distinguished professor of civil and environmental engineering who specializes in environmental fluid mechanics and hydrology, and is one of the world's chief experts on oil dispersion in the wake of major spills. Okay, thank you for all the work that you do. Through experimentation and modeling, his research tackles unanswered questions about the mechanics of spills and the effectiveness of remedial methods. Over the past decade, Michelle, right, or Michael, Michelle, who also served as the director of NJIT Center for Natural Resources, has participated in 6 National Academy of Sciences committees on oil spills, as well as a committee of the Royal Society of Canada. Michelle has obtained $13 million in funding from national and international agencies to pursue his research. Now, we know money is a means to the end, is not everything, but the fact that someone would be willing to provide him funding to do research, okay, is a testimony of the quality of work that he's conducting. And his interest in fluid mechanics is not restricted to just spills. In the early days of COVID-19, as I understand it, even though I'm not here, I was told that Michelle and a team of environmental engineers and modelers studied the virus pathways inside supermarkets. He and colleagues at NJIT, Princeton, and Duke later developed a model that predicts where the disease will spread from an outbreak, which is obviously very useful as we try to mitigate the pandemic. So in what patterns and how quickly it spreads, Michelle also is developing a community intrinsic resilient index to evaluate a municipality or county's ability to prepare for, respond to, and recover following disruptive events at various levels of severity. His index looks at impacts on transportation, on energy, health, social economics, so it goes on and on. My most sincere congratulations to Michelle for the fine work that you do, for your contribution to this institution, and for your impact on our students, which is really the most important thing in my mind. Thank you so much. I guess you would come later, right? Not now for the award, is that correct? Okay, good. So, more to come. Today, we are also posthumously recognizing the achievement of Dennis Blackmore, who served NJIT as a professor of mathematical sciences for 50 years and was a founding member of NJIT Center for Applied Mathematics and Statistics. You know, he passed away, sadly, and we are still mourning, in April of this year. With our deepest gratitude, we honor him with the Overseer Excellence in Research Lifetime Achievement Award. Let me share something with you about Dennis. Dennis was a leading expert in dynamical systems, which use mathematics to measure and model the changes within a system over time. These models can be used in economic forecasting, medical diagnosis, environmental modeling, industrial equipment analysis, and many, many other applications. His work in both pure and applied mathematics and his exploration of the boundary between them was known both nationally and internationally. While his focus was on dynamical systems, he also made significant contribution to a number of other fields, including differential equations, differential geometry, and topology, as well as more applied areas such as fluid dynamics and granular media. In his work, A Perspective on Vibration-Induced Size Segregation of Granular Materials, published in Chemical Engineering Science in 2002, Dennis and his collaborators provided one of the first clearly formulated quantitative explanation of the role that vibrations have on size segregation, and compaction of granular matter. The paper was excellent. I haven't read it, but I trust whoever told me this. The paper was excellent. Example of interdisciplinary research between Dennis and his engineering colleagues, with very practical application for any industry that packages materials. Dennis also authored and co-authored over 130 peer-reviewed journal articles and more than 68 referee conference papers, in addition to writing 6 books and 10 book chapters. His scholarship was truly, truly impressive. If you're not from the academic world, you didn't grow up in the academic world, in my opinion, once you get past 100 refereed journal papers, you are in the midst of, high quality researcher. So Dennis certainly is in that category. In addition to his highly impressive research, Dennis was a very popular instructor. I believe that the best researchers are the best teachers, especially when they bring research into the classroom. He was recognized as the master teacher in 2017 and served NJIT in numerous capacities, most recently as president of the Faculty Senate. I remember this. I know Robert Cohen is not here. He spoke highly of Dennis when Robert became chair of the Board of Trustees and engaged with Dennis quite a bit. I am very happy that Dennis is being recognized this evening, even though posthumously, and I am truly appreciative of his contribution to NJIT, as well as very thankful to his family, because everyone knows, you don't do it alone. Your family is behind the success that we all have on this campus, including Dennis. Before we learn more about the extraordinary accomplishment of these scholars, please join me in welcoming Atam Dewan, NJIT's Interim Senior Vice President and Provost. Again, Atam, back to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, President Lim. It is my distinct honor to join you and our distinguished guests tonight in recognizing 2 outstanding, path-breaking researchers who have both been so influential and esteemed in their respective fields. Though President Lim pointed out many of the accomplishments of the 2 awardees tonight, I would like to comment about some common trait that both of them shared in abundance, and that was the quest for interdisciplinary solution to the problems of high societal impact. Today, we talk about a lot of interdisciplinary research. We talk about transdisciplinary, but so many years ago, and over the long career of Dr. Tanis Blackmore, for example, the word interdisciplinary was not a buzzword 2 decades ago or even 1 decade ago. But these 2 distinguished faculty pioneered the future in terms of pursuing the interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary research and its translation to solve the longest-standing problems of high societal and scientific needs. They both address them with respect to bringing novel solutions. Michelle specifically, for example, is one of our outstanding faculty who developed collaborative synergies and innovative partnerships from academia to industry to government sectors. From many, many nations, I remember that his research was funded not only from United States, the premium funding agencies like National Science Foundation, but also funded through the Mexico agencies, Canadian agency, and also working in the in European counterparts of the research agencies. Michel is one of the world's foremost authorities on oil spills. He has long worked with computer scientists, statisticians, emergency response specialists, biologists, and other engineers on research projects with prominent scientific committees that were focused over a broad spectrum of the real-world problems, from oil spills to remediation methods to understanding the COVID spread in the community to creating this very, very innovative city index that President Lim mentioned about in order to assess our aging infrastructure. And in today's world, as you see the news around us with respect to this unprecedented challenge to the society for its survival and for its doing the business the way we used to do in a normal time that wasn't possible during the pandemic time period. I remember then when the lockdown started in 2020, and we were struggling in order to understand that how COVID is spreading. Michel Boufadel was the first one who received a grant from National Science Foundation to apply his computational models that he actually used in order to understand the droplets for the oil spill in those incidences which actually threatened the regional environment. He used similar models and started applying them to the COVID spread in the community. And where did he start? Grocery stores. I think that was very visionary to start seeing that how the fluid mechanics-based model can be translated into creating the spreading models in the community for this COVID virus, which was very critical for, in many, many ways, in order to understand the dynamics of that virus spreading, but also managing it. He is now, as President Lim talked about, is understanding the aging infrastructure in terms of the city index, which is also very, very important for the society, that we need to create preventive measures while we can and avoid disasters. So, Michel, we owe you your leadership and your vision for these societal critical applications. So it is now my pleasure to introduce a video highlights of Michel's work.
My name is Michel Boufadel. I'm a distinguished professor in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering, and I'm the director of the Center for Natural Resources. The focus of the Center for Natural Resources is to deal with contaminants as they occur in the environment and to assess the usage of natural resources. Our goal has been always to provide solutions that are actionable. What can we do with this information? What action can the community and decision makers do to mitigate, to reduce the impact of pollution? Basically, what we do is to quantify contamination at large scales over large periods of time. So you need a lot of computation. We are member of two supercomputer groups. One is in San Diego, one is in Pittsburgh. We rely heavily also on the HPC here at NJIT. So we do the science, pure science. Then we move to the engineering and providing solutions. For example, when we deal with the oil spills, what are the latest technology that you can use to remove that oil from the beach? The example of these oil spill occurred in 1989. And in 2006, there was a request for a proposal to better understand why the oil is persisting there. So we went to the field, we conducted field studies, and then we learned what is causing the persistence of oil, which is the two-layer nature of beaches and then the small ground freshwater flow, so it cannot flush the oil to the sea. Regarding the Gulf spill, we learned from the Deepwater Horizon investigation that what we conducted, the oil on many beaches was not going to break down because of the high salinity in the zone landward of the high tide. The value of our research is improve the response to oil spills. So essentially, the quantification, the numerical models are really needed. How many, big blobs in it, how many small droplets. But what is also needed is to come up with engineering solutions, and that's what we always do. We always try to go from the fundamentals to providing turnkey solutions. When COVID hit, we realized that we can take our expertise in dealing with contaminants in the environment to address the spread of the disease. And that was along two tracks. One, in the supermarket, when the saliva particles, they can fly in the air. And we realized that that's similar to oil droplets in the ocean. The other thing we did is it's to study the pattern of things over a larger scale. We have developed that to study soils. But then we realized that that also can be used to describe the spread of the disease over cities. NJIT is an anchor institution for Newark, and I think it is really an anchor institution for the state of New Jersey. We are hearing a lot of discussion about resilience, but decision makers, communities, they need to have some index, they need to have a value. Another tool that we have been developing is a GIS spatial tool, we call it SIRI, for Community Intrinsic Resilience Index. Many stakeholders, decision makers in different townships in New Jersey and beyond could use it to prioritize the usage of resources in their communities. We believe that evaporation in our region is going to be a major stressor on wetlands and ecosystems. The water rises, the salt cannot leave, and then you can have salt crust. We develop also a climate predictive tool to better understand the impact of climate change on coastal areas, to predict what would happen in the year 2070, 2080, 2100. So we needed that tool to predict the health of wetlands 50 and 100 years down the road. In my particular operation, one student cannot just do one thing without paying attention to other areas. One of the things that I'm proud of is that we develop a team, an interdisciplinary team, and draw from different expertise, working together with great synergy to really solve problems.
And now it's my privilege to request Marjorie Perry, chairperson of the Board of Overseers, to join me at the podium. Shortly after, she will be joined by President Lim to present 2022 NJIT Board of Overseers Excellence in Research Medal to Professor Bufadel.
Well, good evening, everyone. What an honor it is for me to be here. It's Dr. Bufadel. It's very interesting that I do beach replenishment for the Army Corps. So you know exactly how important that is. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Atam, for having me. Thank you, Board of Overseers. Thank you, Daniel, for putting this together. Fadi Deek is always one of my favorites, so good to see him in the audience. Excellent Research Award this year in recognition of two outstanding scholars. The accomplishment of NJIT faculty members like Professor Bufadel and Professor Blackmore are both inspiring and influential. They represent the groundbreaking work our researchers do here every day. Professor Bufadel, who will now receive this award, demonstrates for us the power of combining profound insight and precise methodology, and absolutely major disruptions to human life. It's his mission. That's what he does. Dr. Dufabel with NJIT's Excellent Research Medal for 2022. If you would please come forward and receive your medal. Dr. Lim.
Okay. Actually, I'm going to try to be brief because I really appreciate how Dr. Lim and Dr. Dawan explained my research, so I don't want to be redundant. And the video, the documentary was really nice. I thank NJIT for putting something like that. I am truly honored to be standing here. I joined NJIT in 2012 as the director of the Center for Natural Resources and a professor in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. Since then, NJIT has provided me with the right environment to both expand my research and to tackle major issues. We work on the Exxon Valdez oil spill, started before, but we continued at NJIT. We work on the Gulf spill in 2010. We obtained funding, as Dr. Dawan mentioned, from international entities, including Ecuador and Canada. And meanwhile, to my benefit, NJIT's reputation kept increasing at all levels, which allowed me to recruit high-quality personnel, PhD students and postdocs, to conduct the research. And during this period, the majority of publications from our center, they were led by PhD students and postdocs. And our graduates, they found positions in major companies and important government agencies dealing with environmental issues such as EPA and NOAA, and in academia. I want to take this opportunity to thank my department chair, Dr. Taha Marhaba, my dean, Dr. Moshikam, and Dr. Dawan in his role as the head of research over the years that helped me advance my research. And I'm going to also thank Dr. Fadi Deek for helping and establishing this setup for improving the academics. We're going to continue our research in the oil spill. I mean, we are in a good place, and I want to continue doing that. But yes, the topic of resilience is really dear to my heart. And as explained earlier, and let me try to put it a little bit differently, we were hearing a lot of talks about resilience and say, what is resilience? Ability to recover. And most of these concepts, they came to us from the social scientists, and we thank them for that. But we are engineers, and we like numbers. So we said, okay, let's combine between infrastructure and social capital, and let's come up with something that truly represented the resilience of a community. In the process, we work with different entities in the region, different researchers. I'm fortunate here to mention some of them are here. They are Professors Elie Bouzaid from Princeton, Hani Nassif from Rutgers, and Dib Sarkar from Stevens. They are with us here tonight, and I would like to acknowledge entrepreneurs who also join us. They are Doctors Shihab Quran and Charles Ashkar. I know that our leaders, including our new president, Dr. Lim, he mentioned it directly to me, They are highly supportive of our regional efforts, the outreach, because this is part of NJIT's mission. And I believe that things will pay off within maybe a year. We should have some major centers, some major collaboration with the Newark or with the NJDEP or the state of New Jersey. We are at that level now. I deeply thank my family for their support and, for all these days that they couldn't see me because I was in the office or I was traveling to be working. My wife Sylvia, I thank her. My mother-in-law was here. I thank her too. And my children, my daughter Sophia, my son Alex, and my daughter Emma. And my children, they are a great reminder that we need to leave the planet a better place than we found it. Thank you, NJIT, for this award, and thank you all for being here.
Thank you so much, Dr. Boufadel. And now it's my great honor to say a few words about Dr. Dennis Blackmore, a revered mathematician who was consequential not only in his field, but also on the campus. His legacy is going to outlive many, many years over here because he left a role model, a commitment, a vision, a professionalism, an ethical environment at NJIT that we are going to be living in order to thrive and move the institution forward. In many ways, he established and contributed at the foundational level to this particular university. For example, he was one of the founding members of the Center for Applied Mathematics and Statistics, which is a landmark at NJIT today in applied mathematics and is nationally known for its excellence. Dennis displayed that great vision that is so essential in a scientist, an avid, boundless curiosity about the life around us. He made contributions in applied mathematics as well as in physics, biology, and engineering. And again, his research and his contribution were not limited in developing the algorithms, but had far-reaching applications and a translation to the applications of high societal impact. He made his research applied not only from the theoretical side as the differential geometry and topology, but also entered into the fluid dynamics and fluid mechanics with granular media. His work on granular materials had wide applications in diverse industries that pack objects into containers, such as pharmaceutical, food, and agriculture sectors. He wrote 60 widely read books and many, many chapters in others. But Dennis' impact extends well beyond his own research. He was an institution by himself on our campus. He taught here for half a century and was a founding member, as I mentioned earlier, of the Center for Applied Mathematics and Statistics, which have served a very, very productive environment for almost, if I am not wrong, more than 100 faculty over these years who have joined or probably, retired. So he brought critically his contributions towards an ambition to make this university a pioneer institution that it is today. More recently, and he was always there to step up to serve the community in many, many ways. And even later, and more recently, He stepped up once again, serving as the president of the Faculty Senate during one of the most wrenching periods on our campus when the COVID-19 pandemic hit the world. We are going to miss him. We actually already miss him very, very greatly. We will now learn more about Dennis in the video highlighting his work. Please.
Dennis Blackmore was an interdisciplinary researcher, and he did that before it became common. He reached out across campus to colleagues in science and engineering and computing, and he worked together with them. He and colleagues, of course, created the Center for Applied Mathematics and Statistics. Dennis made his math useful to others.
He and I have different backgrounds, and we both liked what each other was doing and what we brought to the table.
Dennis Blackmore was definitely an authority, a world-renowned authority on dynamical systems. There's no doubt about it. A granular material is not a fluid, it's not a gas, it's not a solid. Now we pretty much understand how those materials behave for a long time. But a granular material is not, it could exist in any of those three states at the same time. So the open question in this field is, can we come up with a model? And actually Dennis did come up with the model.
And we did a problem in combustion. So we looked at how a spherical flame expands, and he had the idea to try to look at it as a fractal, where you would have these pieces and they would grow on each other. They would keep replicating.
One thing I would say about Dennis is also that not only did he collaborate with faculty, he collaborated with students. He loved to teach. He loved to mentor students. He contributed to creating a community around this university.
He was extremely generous. He always was willing to share any knowledge that he had. He really actively supported all of his students and all of his colleagues.
Yeah, he was a great teacher. He was definitely one of the best teachers I ever had. And my teaching style was very much influenced by his. He was more interested in making the students think rather than spoon-feeding us formulas or equations. And he kind of guided me through the process of becoming a scientist and a mathematician.
But I describe Dennis as the consummate faculty member. Here's a faculty member that started in 1971. For a faculty member to maintain that type of longevity in research is special indeed. A Renaissance man would be a very apt way to describe Dennis, absolutely.
We both shared a love of literature. We would talk about old English poets, John Donne and Andrew Marvell.
He was intelligent. He was smart. His mind was always working. You could talk to him sometimes about films, about drama.
The New York Mets, we talk about Bob Dylan. There was no topic that you couldn't talk to him about.
I didn't know where he got the time to read up. He was an all-around, he was a gem.
It was hard to keep up with him sometimes. And as smart, as educated, as well-published as Dennis was, he was really down to earth and just fun to be with.
And as a person, a human being, as a friend, he was just the best.
He was a powerful formative presence in so many ways. In the classroom, in the research lab.
He was exemplary. Exemplary as an instructor, exemplary as a mentor for both students and faculty, and then just an exemplary citizen of NJIT and always having NJIT's interest at heart.
The work that Dennis did is what we wanted every faculty member to do. The work that Dennis did over nearly 5 decades, is what gave this university confidence that it can aspire to be a research university.
He had a tremendous impact on the department, and a lot of the reason that the department is as good as it is because of Dennis.
I think Dennis really built a welcoming community to anybody looking for a good research home.
And I think that that's been pervasive within the Department of Mathematical Sciences. The senior faculty lead by example, and Dennis was key to that.
He did just an enormous amount for the university. He was very dedicated to NJIT. He was extremely dedicated to his department and very dedicated to his colleagues also and his students.
He always had the school in mind. How do we benefit our department? How do we benefit the school? Not for himself, but, this was his home.
Thank you. And now it's again my privilege to invite Marjorie Perry back to the podium, where she will be joined by President Lim shortly to present the 2022 NJIT Overseers Excellent in Research Lifetime Achievement Award to Dr. Blackmore. Dr. Linda Cummings, his longtime colleague in the Department of Mathematical Sciences, will join us to receive their award.
You know, this is my first time doing these, what do you call them, Matt? Teleprompters? So forgive me if I miscue myself a bit. So, Professor Blackmore, who is now received this award, proved himself over a lengthy, distinguished career to be an indigenous and determined problem solver on so many fronts. We are proud and truly excited about this award. The accomplishments here on the outstanding professorships that we have here, we wouldn't be NJIT without the plethora of information and individuals that do the day in and day out with our students. Dr. Lim, would you please join me in presenting Dr. Cummings with the New Jersey Excellent in Research Lifetime Award for 2022 on behalf of Dr. Blackmore.
So thank you. It's a tremendous honor to accept this Lifetime Achievement Award on behalf of my late colleague, Dennis Blackmore. Dennis completed an astonishingly productive 50 years of outstanding service at NJIT, during which he did pretty much everything a faculty member could do for his department, his college, and for the university. Since several of his scholarly accomplishments and service activities have been mentioned already, I'll try to avoid duplication, but there are still many more to speak of. Dennis joined NJIT 5 decades ago as an assistant professor. He played a significant role in helping the Department of Mathematical Sciences, or DMS, evolve from humble beginnings as a service teaching unit to its current state as a nationally renowned applied mathematics department. As we've heard, Dennis was an excellent teacher, recognized not only by awards within NJIT, but also externally by the Mathematical Association of America with their New Jersey Section Award for Distinguished College or University Teaching of Mathematics. He supervised 16 PhD students, over 20 master's students for their dissertations, and as we've seen, served on over 50 PhD committees. But these raw numbers don't reflect the true picture, because I know Dennis was also a dedicated and valued informal mentor to countless other students at all levels, often to be found chatting in his office to students who weren't even registered for one of his classes. Dennis also generously offered many independent study classes and mentored and supervised research projects for many undergraduate and high school students. He developed or co-developed over a dozen new courses and played a pivotal role in the development of bachelor's, master's, and PhD degree programs in DMS. As one of his PhD students puts it, Dennis knew how to balance guidance and independence for each student. If a student's stuck on a problem, Dennis would work round the clock to help them solve it. On the other hand, if the same student wanted to come up with their own projects and solutions, he would give them time and space to figure it out. Dennis also wrote very eloquently, which helped his students learn how to write scientific articles. He actively worked towards promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion, serving as a mentor in the McNair Scholars Research Program and as an investigator for an NSF Engage grant to increase the retention of those historically excluded in academia. He was also an active member of the Newark Literacy Campaign since 1989. Dennis provided extensive service to the wider mathematics research community, nationally and internationally, through his editorial activities and organization of many, many symposia and conferences. At the time of his death, Dennis was serving on no fewer than 8 editorial boards. He was routinely invited to deliver numerous seminars, as well as conference and keynote presentations. His research, in a variety of fields across both pure and applied mathematics, is widely known and internationally respected. When I mention my affiliation to people I meet at conferences, I'm continually surprised by how many people say, NJIT, you must know Dennis Blackmore. His is the first name they mention. Dennis was also, of course, extraordinarily well regarded and respected within NJIT. Being utterly reliable and diplomatic, he was routinely asked to serve in many diverse and responsible capacities for the Institute. He served on the COVID-19 Advisory Board and the Pandemic Recovery Steering Committee, in which he chaired the hugely important Instructional Delivery Subcommittee. He served on the Faculty Senate from 2014 until his death, serving as its president and vice president. He was the long-standing DMS representative on the PSA Governing Board. He served on the 2020 Vision Committee, on Faculty Council, on Dean Search Committees, on the recent Presidential Search Committee, of course, many DMS search committees, and the Institute Promotion and Tenure Committee. Dennis has also served as Director of Graduate Studies in DMS, as Acting Chair of DMS on 2 separate occasions, as Associate Chair, and as Associate Director of the Center for Applied Mathematics and Statistics. But no list of accomplishments, however impressive, can do justice to the kind of colleague Dennis was. Above all, he was a kind and generous colleague, always the first to offer congratulations for any accomplishment. And he was great fun, the colleague who each semester organized, with his co-conspirator Amit Bose, who is here tonight, the DMS ESP, or End of Semester Party, which always began with a single malt whiskey from Dennis's secret stash in his 5th floor office, before proceeding to McGovern's Tavern, where Dennis would indulge in his favorite Boilermaker cocktail, a shot of whiskey in a small glass which he dropped into a pint of Guinness, glass and all. He would surely enjoy the cocktail reception which is going to follow tonight. So, in gratitude for Dennis's sustained contributions to DMS, to CSLA, to NJIT, and to the professional mathematics and broader scientific community, I proudly accept this award celebrating his achievements on his behalf. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Cumming. And now, this is my distinct pleasure to invite a dear friend and a strong, strong supporter, to NJIT, Dr. Dan Henderson. A few years ago, even though I knew him more than a few years ago, we talked about the research and innovation enterprise at NJIT. And I warned him that once he gets into my universe, there is no exit sign. But he took it anyway. So now he is involved with us with undergraduate research and innovation program on the advisory board, National Academy of Inventors chapter at NJIT, is student chapter, and also more recently, the Technology Translation, Innovation, and Acceleration TITA grant, External Advisory Board. And I'm very grateful to him for his commitment, because he comes and he flew from the far mountain land on the other side of the United States. So thank you for joining us this evening, Dan.
Thank you all very much. Tom understates the obvious when you enter his world. You can't leave. It seems to be expanding my role. One thing that I've learned, you'll notice I don't have anything on the teleprompters. You can't see that because I've learned that the cardinal rule for giving closing remarks is that, number one, you don't want to upstage the people who spoke before you. And secondly, and most importantly, you have to remember that you are the only link that stands between you and the cocktail reception. So I will, despite having no written remarks, keep my remarks brief. And the difficult challenge that I have in giving a closing remarks is trying to consider what it is that I could add to give some flavor or some gravitas to that which has been well said before me. In that regard, one of the charges that we had in our committee and in the Board of Overseers is to recognize that we are now an R1 research university. That means something very different than the NJIT that I once visited in 1994. In that light, Dr. Lim, I do not wish to discourage you, but I will share a story. You are the fourth president that I've had the opportunity to serve at this university since my first visit. Dr. Saul Fenster retired after 24 years, and I chided him that he was a short-timer. And then, of course, our Dr. Joel Bloom, emeritus president, was here for, I believe, 30 years. So 104 days is a good start. When I think about what this award means to the university and the institution at large, I think that is very important. There's an expression we've all heard, that we stand on the shoulders of giants. And today we have the opportunity of standing on the shoulders of Professor Boufadel and also Professor Blackmore. But these are not the only giants that have come to this institution, nor will they be the last. I think that we all have an important charge to be reminded of the importance of this, the highest honor awarded by the Board of Overseers, for our finest academic innovators, inventors, researchers. And that is really, if you boil it down, into two parts. One is that it should be a sustained effort, and there's no doubt if we contemplate what the 50 years of service that Dennis Blackmore gave to us. And I only begin to wonder how many lives he has influenced, how many sparks of creativity he has instilled in his students and in fellow faculty that has and will continue to change the world, and as well with Dr. Boufadel. But secondly, that the award should be given to those who have the greatest impact, societal impact. And certainly there could be nothing more impactful than the work that we've learned about from both of those awardees tonight. So with that, I am humbled and honored to be here amidst many other giants in our university, but in particular, it's a wonderful celebration for the accomplishments of the awardees. And thank you very much, Professor Boufadel, and on behalf of Professor Blackmore as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Henderson. I need to say one more thing about Dan. He's not only a great innovator with 31 patents, but he's also a great artist. Those three sculptures that you are seeing over here, the gas station, the binocular, and I believe there is a camera over there, and about 4 or more outside, including a telephone and a television, they all have been created and built by Dan Henderson, and he donated it to the university. Please join me in a very appropriate final round of congratulations and applause for our honorees tonight, Professor Boufadel and Professor Blackmore. I would also like to thank all who have made today's ceremony a success, including the crew of the media services back over there. Thank you so very much. And 2 very special people that without them, I would have been completely lost. Kim Tripchak, standing over there, and Amber Evans. Where are you? Amber, there. Thank you so very much. I look forward to sharing this experience again in the future. There are many, many significant and exciting research initiatives in progress at NJIT. They are mind-blowing. We continue the tradition that Fadi and President Emeritus Joel Bloom started many years ago when this leadership took the command of moving the NJIT forward. I'm so grateful, and I can't find the word enough to appreciate the leadership of Fadi Deek and Joel Bloom, who have brought more than 200 faculty in the last decade to NJIT, and we continue to bring the best of the best as our faculty, researchers, and innovators at NJIT. So I'm very, very sure that you are going to be more impressed with the achievement and accomplishment of our faculty in these celebration events next year and the following years. NJIT is energized by its growing and very talented faculty who now have a very, very distinct taste of translational science, research, and engineering. And you are going to see that making an impact in the society, not only in the field of solving the problems of high societal impact, but becoming an engine for economic growth and innovation at NJIT. So for that, I once again thank you, and thank you to all Board of Overseers who actually had the vision to create this particular wonderful recognition and honor to our accomplished faculty, but also serving as a role model for our recently hired and a younger generation, as well as the student to look for what you can achieve. And again, thank you, everyone at NJIT. This brings us to the conclusion of our formal program. A reception has been prepared in honor of Michelle and Dennis. And at this time, I invite everyone in the audience to join us for the reception. Thank you very much, and have a great night.